Hey Areeb.
Hello, man.
What's
How
up,
are
man?
you? I'm good. I'm
good,
amazing.
Good. How long have you been in Lahore?
This is like I came this Friday, and tomorrow's a Friday. I'm going back.
So, because you're obviously from Karachi.
Yeah.
Born and raised?
No, I was born and raised back in Dubai.
Acha.
But uske baad I lived all my life in Saudi Arabia. So now I'm Karachi.
When did you move to Pakistan?
Yeah, I moved to Pakistan like after graduation, pretty much.
Acha.
Yeah, like 1 year ago.
Oh, no way.
Approximately. Yeah.
Okay. And you moved to Karachi and then you've been there ever since.
Ever since, yep.
Acha, so I know you as a designer, a graphic designer. I would say an experimental graphic designer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because the stuff that you do is pretty interesting. Like it's got a weird, new kind of glitchy aesthetic to it.
Yeah, I just didn't want to do something in a traditional glitchy aesthetic, because even if you kind of explore that, mobile applications kind of do that at one point, and then you feel really useless. You know, with all the editing things, I feel like agar koi mobile application kar leti hai, you feel just dumb. So I thought of like exploring that narrative a lot, and that's what I've been doing now, with a lot more with videos and a lot more different stuff.
Nice.
But yeah.
And you're also part of the Areeb collective.
Yeah,
right?
This like at the moment it's just me and my brother. So it's just this is it pretty much. But yeah, Areeb collective is basically like an art, clothing, fashion collective where I can just like put out some merchandise with all that stuff included.
Okay,
but
cool.
Yeah.
Other than that, to be honest, I don't know almost anything about you. So do you want to give yourself a brief introduction?
Yeah, sure. I don't mind, of course. So do you want to go way back? Or do you want to go like way back?
I was born type?
No, when I could go like before university type of stuff. Or like
sure.
No, I mean, it's just pretty much that I went to university right after my O levels. So I didn't do my A levels. That's like
really?
Yeah.
Are you one of those prodigies who
No, I
who
wasn't
jumped it?
I didn't jump it. It was like I was so bad at studies that I was like, I need a way other than A levels to just graduate and go to university, because I knew when I used to look at my seniors, you know, going through that struggle, अच्छी यूनिवर्सिटी जाना है, SAT भी देना है, ये भी देना है, वो भी दे रहा है. And I was like, that's not me. Like, I'm the guy who got just 1 A in O levels, and that was in English. ठीक है, I understood.
It's not bad, dude.
I mean, it wasn't that bad, but I know that I wasn't that good too.
Maar padi hai?
No, my parents were pretty chill. They knew that I was not good at what I was doing, basically.
Right.
But after that, I pretty much looked for universities. Someone told me about this university in North Cyprus, and they take you on your O levels. That's the best thing. So I was like, good scene. I applied. The guy was like, what do you want to study? I was like, computer engineering. I got this, you know.
Yeah.
So after like a semester of studying that, I changed it to
Wait, you went
arts.
to North Cyprus?
Yeah, I went to North Cyprus.
So you literally like looked for a place that had no A levels needed.
No A levels. So there were a bunch of places for people who are still struggling at this point. I would tell them कि Malaysia जा सकते हो, UK जा सकते हो, US भी जा सकते हो, you like county college or some shit, and then Cyprus जा सकते हो. Most of the places have like foundation years, right? If you go to UK, they'll go like, अच्छा एक साल आप foundation year पढ़ लो.
Yeah.
फिर आप bachelor चले जाओ. जिस university में गया था, they were like,
anybody,
आ जाओ बस. I mean, they didn't have much
dumbass.
of like, and they gave me a 50% scholarship.
Achha.
Which I realized after going there that every international student gets it.
Right, okay.
Because I was like surprised, you know. But yeah, after studying engineering for about like 4 months, I was like, nahi ho payega. So that's when I changed it to visual arts. Not that I didn't have any art background. I just liked making videos. Usse pehle I loved making like shooting, editing, random stuff. Uske baad I just changed it to visual arts, and from that is where I kind of started getting into design, video, and all that stuff.
Nice.
Yeah,
because I've seen your stuff. You did some work with Talal Qureshi, some of his kind of artwork,
like
visualizing stuff.
Yeah.
And also Shaji, I think you did a
music video
single cover.
Yeah.
And a music video. Yeah.
So uski ke saath there was a visualizer too.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to call them music videos?
Yeah, because like if you tell someone in Pakistan music video hai, they kind of expect that formula type of thing presented to them, you know, with that kind of storyline and everything. And I don't do that, and I haven't done that. Like, I have done that, but I'm not like proud to put it under my name, because I have a couple of videos just lying around in my laptop that I don't show it to people, because I don't feel really like originality uske andar. But with stuff like this, I feel like it's more interesting
Right.
And it's pretty new considering people are just making those commercial music videos. Same thing, few models, a guy singing, you know, and then he gets angry in the middle of the video for no reason. You see him in the studio getting angry.
Which one are you talking about specifically?
So many of them. If you try to like, you know, just do that. But yeah, they're like just visualizers, something that you can have along with the song to enjoy too.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like.
That's cool. And you're also doing a load of courses right now, right?
Yeah, so I started like back in like 3 months ago. I was working at some place, and they were like, okay, we're going through some shit because of the coronavirus and stuff. So we may cut your salaries or we may say goodbye and stuff. So I was like, theek hai, that chapter is going to be over.
Yeah.
And plus I am kind of difficult to work with because I kind of know my rights in a company. So I'm not easily exploited. I am exploited. I'm not gonna deny that. I've been exploited, but not as much as like I would find so I knew that if they're gonna let someone go, it's me.
Okay. First on the chopping block is gonna be
so us time pe I was planning to teach. I love teaching since like in university I would help my teacher out. Like वो कहती थी तुम मेरे assistant बन जाओ ये वाले course के 4 महीने के लिए, right? And I was like हाँ क्यों नहीं, मुझे क्या है? And I kind of enjoyed that part. उसके बाद when I came to Pakistan I kind of discovered that मैं Skillshare पे courses पढ़ा सकता हूँ. So I made a few over there. And then I was like, you know what, I want to do something more curated and more intimate with like people, like मेरे followers अगर Instagram पे, if someone is interested. And people were interested. And then I started pretty much teaching. Or I was doing 1-2 ऐसी देखने के लिए, but it was such a good response. People were turning out to have many questions that I thought people had about design and freelance and working in agencies, how to, you know, get stuff going around basically. So that's why I'm just continuing the process. It's pretty interesting.
So after teaching, how long have you been teaching this course for?
Yeah, I've done 2 courses. One was experimental design and the other was innovative video editing.
Okay.
So my courses are pretty much made in a sort of way that I've had people who have like 3-4 years of design experience, काम कर रहे हैं proper, और मेरे पे ऐसे भी थे जिनके पास 0 experience है. So it was designed to have that experimental aspect to it, that you are like not making like a social media post, but you kind of like creating more from your own thoughts and desires and your inspirations कि क्या आप बनाना चाहते हो. Because I feel like when you kind of get in the loop of doing a lot of commercials work or like a lot of like client set brief work, you kind of understand कि अच्छा how do I make that shit work. And when you're doing that a lot, like this is my personal opinion by the way, कि आप उसी के loop में फंस जाते हो. And a lot of people I realized they were like pretty desperate to make stuff from their own and make their own personal projects. So they kind of like tagged along in this course and I taught them everything because even when I went to design school, like I didn't know shit. सही है. So I would like figure out shit on my own. अगर एक Photoshop की class 1 घंटे की है, 3 घंटे की है, मैं घर जाके अपना देखता था कि what can I do, because I would just imagine that everyone else in my class is like a born artist, you know, कि जो लोग आके portraits बनाए, and they were kids, they would just make portraits for fun. I was like क्या कर रहा है bro?
Like illustrators.
And, illustrating stuff and like doing amazing stuff. So that kind of made me like find my own ways of learning shit, but in a really fast manner. मैंने कहा मेरे पास 4 साल नहीं है कि फिर मैं सीखूं, फिर अच्छा हूँ, फिर 4 साल और लगाऊं, फिर ये करूं. So like there would be some different stuff that I could do. So that's how I constructed the whole course that anyone can understand.
Right. So, I mean, it's interesting because I was talking to Khurram, I think the last recently, and he's also like an art director designer. And we were talking about the state of design in Pakistan basically, and he was very much like, you know, the people need to break out and try new things and all this kind of stuff. So it's interesting talking to someone who has like this kind of very experimental style, who is just like, it's not very commercial, but you do commercial work on the side as well.
Yeah, I guess
or
I have
for your
to.
main.
Yeah, for like, so I have like a design studio, ठीक है, and like पहले it was just me doing my freelance work, and now it's kind of like a small studio based thing where we take like branding projects, social media projects, like all those agency type of stuff that I'm more inclined towards. Like वो भी करना पड़ता है side पे, you know, but in that sense I still have a more connection with the people that I work with, so I can tell them कि अच्छा ये भी कर सकते हैं, क्या ये ना करो आप, you know. It's just like growing with them pretty much.
But you are like the first Karachi guest I've had on this podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is just completely in my head. Because I haven't been to Karachi in ages, and the like only time I went, it was like with family, and I was and I was quite a bit younger. So my, what do you call it, like perception of Karachi, especially its like artist scene, is that there is a cool underground scene. I mean, I know this about music anyway.
Yeah.
You had Forever South, you had these kind of interesting electronic artists, even though they don't make much music anymore. And then everything else is just commercial. And so the impression that I get from Karachi is that it's just commercial work, whereas Lahore is where you can kind of like sit back and just be like, okay, we're going to make some art today or whatever. Yeah. Is that completely wrong?
Well, I feel like that's a bit too exaggerated. I mean, I feel like it's like like the way I've been in Karachi for the last like 12 months, right? And I've had this thing where अभी भी मुझे ये मसला होता है कि you know how people just disassociate themselves from their work and their art, you know, because they kind of make के ये काम है जिससे हम पैसे बना रहे हैं, and then this is art which satisfies our whatever, right, expression, blah blah blah, whatever you want to call it, whatever fancy word you have to call it, ठीक है. But the thing is कि, and I would say कि क्यों ना दोनों हो, कि I make art and I make money, and the rest of the time I make more art or I don't do anything.
Right.
So in Karachi, it's like people are doing commercial stuff सुबह में, रात में अपना काम भी कर रहे हैं, फिर सुबह उठ के जाके अपना commercial stuff फिर से कर रहे हैं. So it's that kind of a loop in which you kind of get lost in the money making part.
Do you feel like that's happened to you?
Yeah. Yeah, it has happened. And that's where, because like when I initially came, मेरा था कि like, okay, so this brand, सही है, ये एक sample shirt है, it's going to be out this month, hopefully working, the new collection is ready, बस करना है. But the main thing was कि I wanted to do this, right? But I just can't go to a place that I've never lived there and just start my own thing. I kind of wanted to work, take an experience. तो मैंने किया काफ़ी काम. But at one point, like 6 months in, I couldn't keep that balance, where I was like, ठीक है, हर महीने I'm going to do 2 passion projects, and one is going to be like, और फिर एक काम हो रहा होगा जिससे like I'm going to pay the bills, right? So at one point it was just work that's paying the bills, and then the passion project कम होते जा रहे थे. And when the coronavirus hit, right, the whole lockdown stuff, things were upside down, you know, like एकदम से समझ नहीं आ रहा था. It's like ठीक है, बस पैसे ही बनाते हैं, हम कोशिश वही करते हैं. But it is like a constant balance that you kind of have to keep. But now it's more interesting, the fact that I got fired in the coronavirus. So I was like, अच्छा मेरा था कि I'll be honest with you, I was like कि ठीक है छोड़ना, I'll just do freelance, you know. I was like pretty happy with it कि नहीं freelance करना है. But I was in this company, I don't want to name them, but they made me the innovative lead designer. That's what I was like कि मुझे job बोल रहे आप innovative lead designer, आप innovation करोगे, we love what you do, blah blah blah. मेरे Instagram देख के बोल रहे थे. They didn't see my commercial portfolio जिसमें branding आ जाए और जो भी stuff. I was like, ठीक है, why not? Like this is like a win-win situation. I could do whatever I want, but with bigger names, bigger the impact, blah blah blah. तो मैंने 1 महीना काम किया, उन्हें कहते हैं नहीं बस अगले महीने से we just setting up a department, you're the lead, so we need a department. I was like ठीक है. उस टाइम पे भी सोशल मीडिया पोस्ट बना रहा हूँ फालतू कंपनीज के, and just like 2 months in, 3 months in, फिर कोरोना वायरस आ गया. फिर मैंने कहा मैं क्या करूँ, फिर 3 महीने और हुए, and I didn't do any innovative work, so that means I have nothing to put in my portfolio.
Right.
उसके बाद they just fired me. And I was like yes. So
that sucks, but it's also
it didn't suck as much as I thought, because I was like mentally prepared, क्योंकि हर महीने मैं बोलता था अब जॉब छोड़ूंगा, अब जॉब छोड़ूंगा.
क्यों? You didn't like it?
Yeah, I didn't like it because it was more like a scam कि आप आओ innovative design करो, and then you're designing the same stuff that you left your previous job for, right? अच्छा. So I was like मुझे मसला नहीं है, I'm not just saying कि it's a bad job or something, but I was like shown something else, given something else, so it kind of made me like कि नहीं, I want to do my own stuff then.
Yeah.
Because there's one thing that I realized कि अभी जैसे मेरा बस दिल चाहा था लाहौर जाने का, और एक छोटा सा कोई काम था 1-2 बॉयज़ के साथ, so I was like लाहौर चले जाता हूँ. If I have a job I can't do that, right? It's like a lot that comes in. Plus पाकिस्तान का थोड़ा सा जो agency culture है, it's not the prettiest thing when you come out of university and you're like हाँ मैं designing करूँगा पूरी ज़िंदगी, and then you see that culture, you kind of get like confused and disappointed a bit too.
Why? What's disappointing about it?
It's just that it's been too it's like I've seen people take pride in the fact that they don't sleep and they just work a lot. You know, I've seen people taking pride in like, oh, hum to weekends pe bhi aate hain. And like, I would understand that if I didn't have any other side of me other than the commercial side. मैं समझता हूँ. But me personally, I'm like, नहीं, मुझे अपने ये भी करने हैं, classes भी करनी है, और like कपड़े भी बनाने हैं, like a lot of things that I've put on my head, and then I feel like कि हाँ, मुझे इतना time चाहिए, you know. So that's something that I couldn't do with an agency.
That's really interesting, because I've been hearing a lot about that even on like social media these days, which is that this kind of culture of work, coronavirus has kind of put a dent in that anyway, right?
Yeah.
But I think people were hoping that it would be like, oh, we're getting to work from home, and so we have more space. It's like, no. Because now it's everywhere. Now you work all the time. And this was an issue that I had as well at some point when I was at my last job, and I was just like, this is insane. I'm going home at like 9 p.m. and I hate it. So like, how did you get out of that mindset? Or were you able to tell those people that like, listen, I have my own life?
Yeah, आप कितनी दफ़ा बोलोगे? It happens every day.
Right.
Like, you know, I would like there was a point where I would tell there was this other lead designer. Like I didn't have anything to do because there was no innovation, there was no department. That was naam ka innovative lead designer, that's just a fancy job title, and that was it. ठीक है? I mean, even though I'm not saying I didn't learn anything, I learned a lot. Like अभी अगर कोई कंपनी मुझसे काम कराना चाहती है ना, मुझे पता है उनको कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्या भेजना है, उनसे क्या बात करनी है, कैसे बात करनी है, कौन बात कर रहा है. I shouldn't really be personally attached to that project, you know. And like a lot of things that I learned कि किस तरीके से काम divide होना चाहिए and all that stuff.
How to build.
And how to not exploit people who work with me. You know, that's something that I learned too. So the main thing was कि you get into this process of, you know, कि ठीक है आज मेरा होता था मैं 7 बजे का निकल गया ना, I've accomplished something, right? मुझे याद होता था यार मगरिब की अजान होती थी और मैं कहता था बस it would hit me कि अच्छा अब ये काम दे देंगे, क्योंकि like 6:50 पे होती थी. And you know, they would like come in, give work. I would leave, but there were times that they would plan it कि अच्छा नहीं इस टाइम पे, you know, like वो काम ही ऐसे करते थे. I don't blame them कि बुरे लोग हैं और ये चीज़, but वो कल्चर ही ऐसे बनाया. उन लोगों ने पूरी ज़िंदगी इस तरीके से काम किया और वो ऐसे ही किया तो वो ऐसे ही काम करा रहे हैं. And it's like I can't really change that.
That's the culture now.
That is the culture now, sadly. But now I see a lot of new design houses, like coming up in Pakistan. They're doing good work. अच्छा काम तो हर कोई कर लेता है, सही है, अच्छी तरह काम करते हैं क्या नहीं वो नहीं पता चलता आपको, you know.
Why did you feel like you were exploited at that company?
Like yeah, if I work like even like हर हफ्ते में 4 दिन मैं लेट काम कर रहा हूँ, सैटरडे को काम कर रहा हूँ, आई एम एक्सप्लॉयटेड. ठीक है, अगर मैं दिल से काम कर रहा हूँ, दैट्स समथिंग एल्स. ठीक है, अगर आई डोंट रियली मैनेज टाइम व्हेन इट कम्स टू समथिंग दैट आई एम डूइंग फॉर लाइक यार इट्स नॉट अबाउट वर्किंग लेट, इट्स अबाउट हाउ यू गेट टू वर्क लेट, यू नो. एंड लाइक इफ इट हैपन्स अ लॉट then you feel like कि अच्छा ये बात अगर मैं किसी और से करता हूँ, people would tell me कि at least you had a job. Right? And I'm like, I'm not complaining that oh मेरे पास job थी और ये थी, but I was like कि if this is in my contract ये ऐसा होना नहीं चाहिए था. And then people would say कि ये culture है. So at the end, what do I accept that this is the culture and I just say yes to everything that comes? Right? So that's kind of like it's still like a dilemma कि आप क्या करोगे? Right? Either you're like कि ठीक है, I would like, you know, I've done this thing where I would call the HR, so-called manager, whatever, जो भी होते थे, and I would tell them, and you know what would they say to me? अरीब तुम्हें ये नहीं पता कि दूसरी एजेंसी में मेरे दोस्त हमसे डबल काम कर रहे हैं. And what am I supposed to say then, you know? So going through all that, I was like, okay, ठीक है, I'm better off fired, you know.
But that's really, I think a lot of agencies here are beginning to operate in the same way that Western agencies do, because it's like like you said, like your work becomes so much a part of your personality that it becomes essentially who you are. It's like, oh, what do you do? Well, I work at this place, and that is where I spend literally like almost 12 hours every day. Which is insane if you think about it. Like there's no off button, right?
Yeah, there is no off button, and you kind of get in the loop of कि पाकिस्तान में ऐसे freelance culture है भी नहीं कि, you know, I like जब मैं आया हूँ, I didn't want, like मैं पहले से prepared था कि I would do freelance, right? But then knowing nothing about Pakistan or anything, I just started, and I would ask a lot of people कि आप freelance करते हो, कैसे करते हो, क्या करते हो, how much money do you make and everything. But I realized that people don't really talk about money that much.
Yeah.
You know, it's
anywhere
like,
in the world.
Like anywhere, right? Especially यहाँ पे it's more like के अगर मुझे कोई बता दे यार कि हाँ मैं ब्रांडिंग प्रोजेक्ट के इतने लेता हूँ, सोशल मीडिया अगर मैं किसी कंपनी इतने लेता हूँ, तो मुझे पता चल जाए कि मुझे अगले दिन एक एजेंसी में जाके ज़रूरत नहीं है. हाँ. किसी और कंपनी में मैं कोशिश कर सकता हूँ, शायद 3 महीने 4 महीने लगा के आई गेट द सेम प्रोजेक्ट फॉर माई सेल्फ. And now I would have to work for 2 hours a day. You know? And that is the reality.
Yeah, but nobody talks about it because it's very awkward to talk about, Nate. Because it's like, if you talk about like, oh, I charge this much per day.
Yeah.
People, I don't hear. I was in exactly the same position as you because I have, like I told you before we started this podcast, I have zero business sense in me.
Sahi hai.
Matlab ke my mind just does not operate money wise at all. If someone said, हाँ ये भी कर दो, I would be like, no, I'll give you money for me to do it. Honestly, that's how bad I am. So, if I had someone who would literally tell me like, this is the minimum, right? If you go below this, you are spoiling the market.
Exactly.
I had a friend, Amar, shout out. He literally said at one point, like, if you do this, you're ruining it for everyone else. Because you're doing good work for a fraction of the price at which other people would do it at. And so, what's been your experience freelancing? And that's in that terms. Like, do you wish like should there be a document somewhere where people are like, this is what like is expected?
Yeah, it's like I'm taking this class. Okay, like I am taking this class. I am giving classes, but मैं एक class ले रहा हूँ, which is from Sana Nasir. She is an amazing designer. She designed the LMM, the recent one, even the previous one, I guess. So amazing designer, right? So she was doing a class last month. I think so. Abhi bhi chal rahi, you guys should check it out. Whoever is into it, but it's called Freelance Ain't Free. So she talks about how you structure your projects, how you structure your time, how do you deal with clients and everything. वो मैंने 1 महीने की class ली है, and honestly, that has been the most informating thing for me.
Really?
Like she told me how to make a contract. In which you don't get exploited.
Yeah.
Right? क्योंकि अगर आप freelance भी काम करा रहे हो, the thing is कि I get personal a lot. अगर मुझसे कोई काम करा रहा है, bro मुझे ये काम कराना है आपसे, like poster बना लो, like whatever it is. I would go like ठीक है, you know, हाँ कर लेता हूँ, and I wouldn't really think about the contract or the 50% payment.
Yeah, because you're an artist.
Yeah,
you know?
And then I wouldn't like मेरे तो दिल भी नहीं चाहता कि मैं पैसे लूँ. मतलब वो वाला सीन होता है. फिर बाद में जब आपको समझ आती है कि आप पैसे नहीं लोगे, तो आप क्या करोगे? So उसके लिए there is no, like I feel like even with my classes I would talk about freelance and like मेरा जो थोड़ा सा experience है, क्या 1 साल 2-3 साल का experience होगा since I started doing it a bit in university. थोड़ा सा भी है ना, if I share with my students, for them it's like a new world.
Yeah.
Or like मुझे लगता है कि मुझे like I don't know shit about freelance, but I'm still like learning along the way. But there is no documentation, especially you see a lot of like Western stuff, like there is this channel The Future, and they talk about how you can deal with businesses and how do you manage everything as like a solo businessman or even with a small team, you know, but there's not much content about it. So it's a good thing that now if you wake up tomorrow go like nahi mujhe apna kuch karna hai, you can still do it because there are not a lot of people like you who are there. Right? But then there is not a lot of information about it too, so it's like your own struggle of figuring stuff out pretty much.
Coming back, I think Shazan Malik also, she had recently uploaded a sampled contract as well.
Yes, I have that saved.
Yeah. I looked at it and I was like, okay, this is really interesting. It's really nice that people are starting to open source this kind of thing, which is like, this is what I use. And if everyone starts to use this, it will be really easy.
Yeah.
And what do you think is there a possibility for creating some kind of a union of designing, of graphic design or any kind of artistic work, really?
Yeah, I have seen unions, but they're like in small packs, you know, and they're like indulged with themselves. And it's okay considering how some of the things, because like if you look at the scene of people, you just realize they're like a bunch of people. Zyada log nahi hai, right? But I feel like artists like Shazin Malik or Sana and who are like giving out this information, right? That's what pretty much is changing. And now if I would have people talk to me about freelance, I'm just, you know, taking that information from them and giving out that to someone, you know? Because मुझे भी नहीं पता था बहुत सारी चीज़ें कि like, you know, how if I would design something for you, right? And let's say it's an artwork. and you're like ठीक है artwork हो गया, contract नहीं बनाया हुआ, आपने मुझे पैसे, that's it. And the next day you print out like 300 t-shirts and make a lot of money from it. Now that is where I'll go like कि ये मैंने बनाया था, where is my, like, you know, this wasn't in the initially what we talked in our messages, and
sure.
you'll go like, oh, it changed my mind, what I can do nothing, right? But when you have a contract, you kind of have these things labeled down कि अगर मेरा artwork फिर से इस्तेमाल होगा, this is how much you need to pay me more and everything. And then like अगर आपको copyright और ये चीज़ें आप समझना चाहो और बेहतर समझ लो, so that's going to help you in a long term, right? Because the thing that got me really interested in understanding it is because when I saw people who had like कि हाँ हमने इस कंपनी के साथ काम किया, इसके साथ किया, बस this didn't come out, this didn't happen, ये होने वाला था, and like so much time and energy that you've put into something, और फिर that didn't happen. And you didn't even get compensated for it.
Yeah.
Like बहुत कम लोग होंगे जो they will respect कि हाँ इसने मेहनत की है, इस boy के बंदी ने इतना काम किया, I should at least compensate them, right? So you kind of have to, like, it doesn't feel good at first जब मैं contract की email भिजवाता हूँ, invoice की और ये सारी चीज़ें, but it kind of makes people realize कि you are a professional, right?
Yeah.
And if people question it, there's one thing that even Sana has taught is like just tell them what corporate companies do. This is corporate policy, मैं कुछ कर नहीं सकता, तो ये मेरी company policy है, मेरी freelance practice है, मैं कुछ कर नहीं सकता, you have to follow it by the rules.
Yeah.
And that's how you document everything too. So that's something.
Do you have any horror freelance stories? Because I had one where I was just kind of getting started in documentary work.
सही है.
And so this, I don't want to mention any names.
Fair enough.
But I did like a 3-minute short documentary about this science in schools or something like this.
सही है.
And the amount was tiny anyway, right? But I was like, ठीक है जो कुछ भी मिल रहा है ना. It's just I was doing it as a one-man band. And then they were like, oh, the investors pulled out. So even that tiny amount you can't get. But I'll figure it out anyway.
Yeah.
I kept emailing them, and then in the end, basically what happened was that I didn't even get paid that amount. Yeah. It was to the point I was like embarrassed to even be like, how are you not giving this?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, how can you not give this to someone who just made this for you? Like, it's just, it almost like, it's like,
तब चढ़ जाती है.
Yeah, it's like I'm embarrassed for you.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Yeah. Like I'm not going to even do it because I can't even be bothered. But obviously, like, what are your freelance horrors?
Yeah, I worked with a friend of mine connected. Like this is a long time ago when I was starting out, right?
That's usually when these happen. Cause
yeah, but like you don't know much and people are like,
Yeah.
So this friend of mine, he connected me with this British education consultancy. उनको कुछ काम वाम कराना था, right? So I worked with them and everything, and दोस्त के through था, तो I was like हाँ ठीक है हो जाएगा. And he had to pay me, I'll tell you how much. It was $10 for a poster. ठीक है, और उस पे भी उसने मुझे एक पूरी रात ख्वार किया था because he wanted something that he was imagining, right? And obviously when people who have no design knowledge imagine something, it's a mess, right? Not always. People have certain types of aesthetic, बहुत लोगों के पास होता है, मगर बट जब वो टेक्निकल हो जाते हैं ना, इट्स फाइन, आई डोंट माइंड इफ यू जस्ट कैन पे मी गेट इट. मुझे अपने पोर्टफोलियो में थोड़ी डालना है कोई एजुकेशन कंसल्टेंसी का एक वो है क्या बात है, व्हाटएवर. सो ख्वार किया उसने, ख्वार करके वही जब पैसे दिए, ही जस्ट स्टार्ट इग्नोरिंग मी. मतलब नज़र आ रहा है व्हाट्सएप पे ऑनलाइन ऑनलाइन नज़र आ रहा है, एंड आई वाज लाइक ब्रो आप पैसे करवा दो. एंड वही इट हैपेंड फॉर अ कपल ऑफ टाइम एंड देन इट जस्ट डिडंट हैपन.
Are you kidding me? $10?
Yeah, $10. This guy ignored me for $10. I was like, ठीक है, like अल्लाह बेहतर करे इसके हालात.
How many times did you message him?
Yeah, like एक 3-4 दिन किया, फिर मैंने कहा छोड़ देता हूँ, ठीक है ना, शायद बिजी हो बॉय, ठीक है, जैसे मेरा मैसेज आता हो बाहर निकल जाता हो. उसके बाद फिर I messaged after a week or so, and then I told my friend, I was like, you got me
asshole.
Yeah, exactly that. So he was like, यार पहले बताते यार. I was like, क्या मैं तुझे बताता, $10 नहीं मिले मुझे bro. I was like, क्या, like you know you get this, क्योंकि for me like $10 isn't like everything, but it is something, right? It is me.
It's a meal.
Yeah, it's a meal. That's fair enough. Or it's like a good meal with an upsized drink and an upsized fries. I'm like happy enough about it. Yeah. But the thing is कि main चीज़ जब वो होता है ना, you kind of get like कि नहीं ठीक है, I'll just do what I'm doing, you know. I don't want to go through all of this again because to design something is okay, but when it comes to getting your money out, that's something different, and that takes a lot of energy. Kya message karo, and when it's a corporate company, you have to write long emails with fancy words and everything. So you're like, yeah, I'm better off just working. You know?
Right. And for the embarrassing amount that it is.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, it is an embarrassing amount.
True.
You even just feel like the other guy should be ashamed of himself.
But I've had good people who kind of gave me the confidence. Like there was this SoundCloud singer from the US or something. She was like, whatever, she just reached me out, and I was like, pehla saal tha meri university mein, I didn't know stuff about anything. She was like, artwork chahiye. I was like, I'll just charge this much. She was like, theek hai. She was like, just send me your PayPal, I'll send the money right now. Kaam se pehle. Maybe my amount was so low that she was like, yeah.
Idiot. Send $3.
But yeah, so that was like something good that gave me like confidence. और उसके बाद भी फिर when I started was like, okay, what if I really want to make money out of it? You know, not just like side income, the main income out of it. So that's when I started to change my structure of how I would make my portfolio and what I would do, and मुझे कैसा काम चाहिए था, because that's like a main thing. Like I can design a lot of things, right? But do I want to design all those things?
Right. Yeah.
I like doing
branding. Do I want to design 100 Insta posts for some company?
Like I would say even like with the brands that I get right now, ab I can choose, right? I can talk to those people and I can choose कि क्या चाहते हो. And now I clarify like a lot of stuff before saying yes. Okay, what's the brief? What's the timeline? What's the budget? References दिखाओ, visual references दिखाओ, like just to be on the same page. Because I've been in situations के पैसे अच्छे मिल रहे हैं, project ले लो, फिर उस बंदे का दिमाग कुछ और है, फिर आप कहते हो यार ये पैसे तो they're not justifying the ख्वारी that I'm doing. You know?
Yeah.
So that's like a whole another process that comes with freelancing. You just have to think a lot. You're like your own businessman, your own accountant. फिर ये हर 1000 चीज़ें करो, and then it gets kind of exhausting at one point.
Yeah. And it's not even just like the little guy that is you know, trying to keep his $10. It's like the big companies as well that even if it is $10, they're like accounts nahi de rahe abhi, you know, or whatever.
There's like this thing where a hierarchy of a lot of people that you need to get a yes from and then do something, and I'm like, theek hai, you do you or something. But I've done this thing. मैं जब पाकिस्तान आया हूँ शुरू में, मैं किसी कंपनी के पास ज़्यादा था ना, I would go like, मुझे पार्ट टाइम काम करना है कि मुझे फ्रीलांस काम करना है. मैं फुल टाइम नहीं काम करता था. Just because if I want to leave, I can leave the next day. Right. Because like probation period ही होगा, क्या होगा जो भी. Because the thing is कि I didn't know where to work. Like I'll tell you, पहली जगह जब मैं कराची आया हूँ, because no one gives you, अब यूनिवर्सिटी में भी होते हो ना, अब फिर भी लिंक्डइन के बारे में थोड़ी इन्फॉर्मेशन दी जा रही है बच्चों को, समझाया जा रहा है कि हाँ दिस इज़ वेयर यू हैव योर प्रोफेशनल पोर्टफोलियो, ब्ला ब्ला ब्ला. वरना कोई आपका एक अच्छा दोस्त हो समझा दे. वरना मेरी यूनिवर्सिटी में, आई केम फ्रॉम साइप्रस, सो वहाँ पे जो थे ना, साइप्रस इज़ लाइक अ स्मॉल आइलैंड which doesn't have McDonald's. ठीक है, so now you can imagine how they live.
Oh my god,
yeah,
it doesn't have McDonald's. Yeah.
So वहाँ पे there wasn't like कि पूरी industry बनी or something, you know. So it was just like a chill island. You go, you study, you just have fun, and then you come back.
Yeah.
कोई ऐसा scene नहीं था कि वहाँ पे आप immigration apply कर रहे हो, वो shit नहीं थी. So when I just came back, मैंने कहा कहाँ पे job ढूंढूं, right? I started searching for jobs, वो like internships पे 2 साल पुरानी बात है, on OLX. So I would search graphic design internship.
Nice.
And I would get a bunch of things, right? And मैं उनको कॉल करता था, कहते हैं हाँ आ जाओ इंटरव्यू के लिए.
What, there are jobs on OLX?
Yeah.
No way.
And proper पूरी मार्केट है, जॉब मार्केट है.
Oh amazing.
हाँ, तो I was like ठीक है. सबसे पहले मैं गया, it was a nice place, it was like a weird office. ठीक है, मैंने कहा ठीक है ऐसे ही होते होंगे. So what they were doing, they were taking designs from like really popular brands, illustrations, image आती थी, and you were like just tracing it. For people who use Illustrator, they know what tracing is. You just literally like, I'll put your photo and I'll copy literally everything in a vector, and then I can use it anywhere. तो वो कर रहे थे. So there was like, this is what we do from 8 to 5, 9 to 5. I was like, no, but he was like, आप एक ट्रायल दे दो. ठीक है, वो कोने में कंप्यूटर में एक फाइल खुली हुई थी, JPEG, इस इसको ट्रेस करो जाके. I was like ठीक है, मैंने किया. I was like नहीं, मैं नहीं ये कर रहा. एक और जगह की. So this guy invited me. He was like, जब मैं गया हूँ उस जगह पे अपनी करीम से, I saw there was like only car mechanics, right? कोई ऑफिस का सीन था ही नहीं. कार मैकेनिक्स है क्या, वहाँ दूध वाला है, कि कहाँ आ गया हूँ. बॉय कहता नहीं मैं गाड़ी में बैठा हूँ. ही से कम विद मी. सो ही टुक मी, पतली सी गली थी जहाँ बस मैकेनिक्स थे, उसके बीच में कोने में जाके देयर वाज अ प्रिंटर शॉप. अच्छा वो मुझे प्रिंटर शॉप की अपनी दुकान पे जॉब लगवा रहा था. I was like, damn, I didn't see that. फिर उसके बाद I shared the experience with a friend of mine, and she just laughed at me for the first 5 minutes. So Alex, कौन job ढूंढता है. फिर उसके बाद I got a decent one. Luckily, in this company, they were nice enough. उनका एक design department शुरू हो रहा था, so they were like, do whatever you want. And I just made like, in 3 months, I made like more than 20 videos for them. Like proper videos or small content bhi itna banaya, and I was like doing whatever I want, you know. So that was a weird experience to get my first internship.
Yeah, that's a nice first job if they give you open.
Yeah, they like, I still like Abibi, I'm in contact with those people. But acha scene hai, अच्छे लोग हैं, अच्छा काम. Now they're just doing web development stuff, but they were amazing people who were like, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And I had this thing, Abibi hai ke I love to shoot content from my phone, right? And I still have so much content that I've shot with some companies, ठीक है, और वो iPhone से shoot किया. And it's like, जाना तो आपके फ़ोन में ही है ना, Instagram पे लोग देखेंगे, why do you need to spend so much on it? And I would...
Shut up.
No, not
this
like...
This is my job.
Yeah, no, not like...
You do need to spend a lot of money on video.
No, I'm not saying... When you're like scaling down content, right?
Yeah.
This is that content that needs to be promoted. उसका ये outcome हम चाहते हैं. जब आप एक social media छोटी सी एक 30 second का कोई video है जिस पे आप थोड़ी सी engagement चाहते हो, 2 दिन बाद वो आपकी post किसी को पता नहीं होगा वो exist करती है. You don't need to do the same route for that as the top bar wali cheese, right? So
but you don't tell them that.
No, I don't tell them that. I'm just saying ke फिर भी like with
नहीं sir, आपके लिए ये Instagram post, we need a red camera and we need all these lights and we need all these things.
नहीं, मगर the thing I'm mentioning this is because they were like pretty open to how I want to do stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I was like कि मुझे ये वाला shoot iPhone पे करना है. They were like ठीक है कर लो. So that's the
of course.
like, you know, like, and then they would get me like cameras too कि जब cameras चाहिए होंगे. So I kind of understood like how I can like अगर
the right tools for the job
kind of situation.
Yeah.
फिर वो बेहतर अभी भी like if I know what type of situation it is and then I go like ठीक है, this is the equipment charges that you have to pay. Because हम equipment charges नहीं लेते as freelancers, right? We just think that we have it as a gift.
You don't charge?
No, I do charge.
Now.
Like equipment and like now, like equipment, resources and everything.
Initially मैं भी नहीं करता था. I have this camera already. And they were like, oh great. I was like, yeah, what a coincidence.
Like I've worked with places जहाँ मैं गया हूँ, मैं अपना laptop लेके जाता था. And उन लोगों को एक computer नहीं खरीदना पड़ा मेरी वजह से. And I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
मेरा laptop was just like part of their company resource.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just like you have to like kind of realize.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it makes sense, I guess. Like if you're a scrappy startup, then obviously you bring whatever you can to the table. But sometimes it's like, bro, like
you have to kind of like analyze the situation. कि किस तरीके से what, like how do you, like you don't really go to your friends when they ask you for favors and then go like ये मेरा contract है. You take that situation differently, you know.
Of course.
You manage it so obviously, but I think so you kind of have to be more professional enough to not get exploited, I guess.
Yeah.
वो एक और चीज़ है.
That's interesting. Acha, so tell me a little bit about Areeb Collective because I'm quite interested in whenever I've seen all your designs.
You've seen stuff?
I've seen some like graffiti, wall graffiti and stuff.
Yeah, so that's my small brother. So Areeb Collective was more like a project like जो university में जब मैं था ना, when I was like visual arts पढ़ने, I was like I want to have my own clothing line. Like that's like the main goal. Like whatever I'm doing, it's just like funneling one way or another कि वो it's gonna be at the top. And that's Areeb Collective where I want stuff to go around, right? So
has fashion always been an interest of yours?
Fashion has been an interest, but not like as other people who are doing fashion उस तरीके से कि you know how they have, like for me it was like कि the reason I wanted Areeb Collective to be like a solely Pakistani brand is because जब भी मैं बचपन में पाकिस्तान आता था, right, हम छुट्टियों में आ रहे हैं and we would go shopping, I would never have fun. Like never, I wouldn't relate to any streetwear brand कि मैं उनके कपड़े पहनूंगा, right? First of all, there were no streetwear brands. They were like these normal general casual wear brands. जिसमें जब वो लोग streetwear करते हैं ना, वो अंकलों वाला streetwear होता है कि you know like the way they make
fellow
ads.
Kids type?
You know like all of them are wearing that straight cap in 2020 still.
Oh really?
Like that type, like they're like कि बहुत distorted image होती है of what streetwear is and what fashion is. I'm not saying they're doing a bad job. I mean they're making hell a lot of money or whatever. But the thing is कि मुझे लगता था कोई ऐसा brand नहीं है. So my university में था, I was like, I'll just make a brand for myself when I graduate. So for my final year project, I made a Jeep collective. So I spent like the whole year branding बनाते हुए and पूरी और फिर collections बनाई with my teachers actually. And it was nice to have like other people's perspective on it while I'm building up the process. So that's where a Jeep collective like was like made. जब मैं पाकिस्तान आया, I was like, I had everything. Just like ready. Now I needed to figure out कि मुझे शर्ट प्रिंट करके कौन देगा, मुझे जैकेटें कौन बनवा के देगा.
The logistics aspect.
और उसमें honestly यार मेरी फट गई थी.
Yeah, it's
not pretty at all.
Yeah,
it's always pretty on your laptop when you see it and when you talk about it with your friends.
Now making a t-shirt mock-up is so fun,
it's
right?
So fun. It's so fun. And then जब आप logistics पता चलती हैं, आप बोलते हो what will I do, right? I've had people hung up on me where I go like, यार मुझे बस 200 शर्टें करानी है. He's like, bro, हम 3,000 से कम का ऑर्डर नहीं लेते.
Yeah.
और मैं कहता हूँ अच्छा ठीक है, सही है. फिर so the first collection, maybe you've seen it, वो jackets denims पे काम किया था. It was in February. So I launched it on January 4th. That was my birthday. I was like, अभी Instagram पे launch करता हूँ. Now I'm just gonna start to build up that attraction and whatever. So I heard that LMM was gonna happen, right? तो LMM के लिए I sent them an email out. February 1st और 2nd था और मैंने January 4th I just emailed them and they didn't reply to me, right? तो मुझे लगा यार सीन ऑफ है. फिर हुआ क्या, हफ्ते पहले उनकी email आई. They're like हाँ ये सीन है स्टॉल का and all that stuff. They were really nice. I talked to them and everything. तो मैंने कहा ठीक है, I have 2 weeks. Sorry. And I have to make a collection, take it with me to Lahore so I can officially launch it at LMM.
Right.
Now that was something of like a pretty image that I imagined. You know, my brand launching at LMM. So मैंने कहा ठीक है, 2 हफ्ते में I made the whole collection. ठीक है. So that's where I got a friend of mine who helped me out, Talha. And my family has like always like मेरा भाई भी मदद कर रहा था. Like everyone's just like all in on it, you know. So and it was all experimental. जैकेटें आती थी और मैं खुद ही जाके चीज़ें लेता था सामान and I would like design some stuff and I would go like ठीक है आज रात हम 3 articles बना रहे हैं, ठीक है. And I would like just design it. सुबह दर्जी के पास जाते थे. So it was like a process of pure experimentation. Like I would have my dad just telling me कि नहीं अच्छा ये वाली पट्टी जो है ना हम यहाँ पे लगा देते हैं. My mom would go like no that's too much and then my brother would do some shit. Like there was this one article, it was like a all back collage type of stuff. So that was what my small brother made, right? So it was a beautiful experimentation that came out interestingly. So I did that and that is what a Jeep collective pretty much is, you know. It's like experimental fashion. I just don't want to use the word experimental that much when I'm branding it because people get kind of like some unko lagega ke that all that stuff, but it's more like abhi bhi jo like I'm releasing a bunch of shirts, like it's like a black shirts collection. So this is like a collection that अच्छा जो चीज़ मुझे सबसे ज़्यादा मसला करती है ना commercial, जैसे like if it's you or I don't know if like people around you with the same mindset, let's say जो हमारे करीब हमारे दोस्त होते हैं who we spend the most time with, the way they see the commercial market, it's not in with like pretty eyes with like stars in it, right? It's just like ये क्या बकवास है, right?
Yeah.
So I would never want to create a product in which मेरे दोस्त बोल के बोलें क्या बकवास है, because we sit together and we hate on these projects, right? Of like how they curate it, like how तो मेरा ये था कि I don't want to just make that culture, oh we're representing culture of Pakistan in this collection. I was like कि हर कोई ये करता रहता है जब मूड होता है, 4 अजरक के कपड़े उठाते हैं, कपड़ों पे लगा देते हैं, बोलते हैं we are doing culture. I'm not saying that's not culture, I'm not the one to judge that, but I was like I can't do that, right? So this collection is focused on what people are actually feeling. No one's happy right now. I mean, like, you know, उस तरीके से like what we've been through for the last few months, you know. I'm not saying that I'm depressed or I'm depressed, but I'm just saying that we're not like we're happy. We're not in that situation, right? No. So it's more like, for me, it has been more like a confusion phase. कि you know how you would depend on time so much that time is going to help you out कि 2 महीने में मैं ये कर रहा हूँ, 1 महीने में ये, and you know how things, and then shit just changes in one night, and then the next thing you know, government will lock down the hour, and you're just like not doing anything. So my whole collection is kind of based upon the questions that we ask ourselves sometimes. So I want to, it's not depressing collection, but it's like a really soulful. Yes, that's the word. I should write that down in my notes. But that's what I'm focusing on. But it's like just like mera apna
contemplative. I'm just going to give you a lot of words for your marketing.
But उसकी अब marketing कैसी होगी? That's the whole thing, you know. मैं कपड़े निकालता हूँ, मैं कहता हूँ ठीक है कपड़े बन गए. मैं गया photo खींचनी.
How was that LMM though?
LMM was amazing.
अच्छा.
LMM was like, अच्छा तो I've.
Did you sell?
Yeah.
Decent or
like more than decent. Allah का शुक्र है. It was interesting response. But like LMM की सबसे अच्छी बात पता है क्या थी? Because like मैं कराची 1 साल पहले आया हूँ, right? उससे पहले मैं लाहौर आया था नवंबर में दोस्त की बहन की शादी. So I didn't really see Lahore or anything. I just went to the Minar-e-Pakistan, took a photo with it. That's it. You know, had to. Had to. But this time when I हुआ क्या था, I was still at my job, right? So Friday और Saturday को था शायद. Friday मैंने flight ली है. I came directly to the Alhambra Arts Council with my suitcase, right? I put my suitcase there. मेरे suitcase में मेरी ऊपर जैकेटें थी और नीचे posters थे. So I was like selling my art with my jackets and everything. So I set up the whole thing and everything. And like, you know that एक movie थी Midnight in Paris. I don't know if you've seen it. वो 12 बजे निकलता था. All these old like celebrities, वो जो उस ज़माने के थे, the writers and artists, they just come out, right? So when I was like standing there, I was like, अच्छा ये तो बयान की बैंड वाला बंदा जा रहा है, अच्छा ये वो जा रहा है, this is like the guy from सिकंदर का मंदिर, and like I was seeing all of these people around me. I was like, this is the right place to be, I guess, you know. So it was an interesting experience at Lahore. I met a lot of amazing people. मैंने इतने दोस्त बनाए ना लाहौर में 2 दिन बस स्टॉल पे खड़े होके. And the response was pretty interesting. How people kind of, I like how when people come close and they look at my artworks in their hands and they buy it to put it in their room. That feels really nice, you know. कि कोई मेरी बनाई हुई चीज़ अपने कमरे में लगाएगा.
Right.
So it was an interesting experience. Even the festival was amazing. I think so. You missed this one, right?
I missed this one.
Yeah. How many times have you said it?
I don't know. Can you tell that I'm gutted that I missed it? Yeah. Because everyone says it was the best, so I'm just like
that was the only one I attended, and it was amazing. I'll be honest with you. बहुत अच्छा था. It was like it was an interesting experience for me.
Yeah.
Because I spent 2 दिन मैंने वहाँ पे गुजारे थे, और फिर मुझे आते अगले दिन I just slept like a friend of कहाँ पे मैं सोया था दोस्त के घर पे, and I just went back to Karachi.
Right. How were you pricing these?
The jackets or the posters?
Are they the jackets? Are they expensive ones?
Okay, what do you think? You've seen like a bunch of stuff.
I think I've seen the. Is it like a block on the back of the jacket?
Yeah.
So and it's a denim jacket.
Yeah, it's
right?
a denim jacket. It's like, how much would you pay for it?
You can't ask me this because I have no idea how much these things should cost.
No, like your personal. कि अगर जाते हो कोई दुकान में पैसे देने हैं इसके कितने दे दोगे अपनी जेब से निकाल के?
You doing market research on me right now? I don't know. Like I know a t-shirt would be like 1,500 for like an artsy ass t-shirt from some online store. Maybe even 1,800 or something like that, which to me is like a lot. But for a jacket, like a denim jacket,
come on, man.
I don't know, like maybe like 5,000 type. Yeah,
fair enough. But my jackets were priced from 3,500.
Not bad, yeah. That's very reasonable.
So that was the reaction. अच्छा मुझे खुद pricing नहीं करना आती है, as you can tell.
Yeah.
तो मैंने जब की, right, I was like कि अच्छा मैं इससे भी सस्ती बेच रहा था. मुझे मेरे भाई ने कहा और घर वालों ने कहा कि ओवर ना हो, ठीक है कि मैं, क्योंकि मुझे नहीं समझ आता कि कैसे करना चाहिए था उस टाइम पे. सो आई प्राइस्ड इट लाइक 3,500, राइट, एंड दैट वाज द फर्स्ट रिएक्शन. पीपल वुड होल्ड इट, देखते थे कपड़ा, वही जो अपनी टेस्टिंग कर रहे हैं कपड़ों की, लाइक देयर लाइक मैन्युफैक्चरर्स ऑफ सम क्लोथिंग कंपनी, राइट, और फिर अच्छा है पहन सकते हैं गर्मी में सर्दी में जो भी. एंड देन दे वुड आस्क लाइक हाउ मच, एंड आई वाज लाइक आई वुड से 3,500. They were like, अच्छा सही है, and they're like look like, oh god, we like have a win-win situation over here.
You know, reasonable price, very reasonable price.
It is a reasonable price, you know. It's like क्योंकि आप अच्छे कोई ब्रांड्स के पास जाओ, like you know well known, उनकी simple denim आप लोगे, आपको वो इतनी की पड़ती है. So I was like, I'm giving you some like design stuff, you know, with that stuff. Plus there is this one thing कि मेरी एक jacket है which is like उसकी 2-3 बनती हैं, सही है, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं बनती.
Right.
So the most replies that we give to our customers like sold out.
right.
Because it's like I don't create that much, so it's like कि आप ले लो वरना अभी भी शर्टें जो आ रही हैं, the collection is gonna come and then महीने के अंदर सीन हो जाता है.
हाँ.
अच्छा.
You could charge way more.
I could, but depends, you know. Now the fact that I am looking at logistics, पहले मैंने वो नहीं की थी. पहले तो मैं देख रहा हूँ ना, हाँ मेरे करीम के पैसे पूरे हो रहे हैं, रात को मैं बर्गर भी खा रहा हूँ, हाँ ठीक है, सीन ऑन है, 3,500 की. But when I started hiring someone to manage some stuff for me, I was like, अच्छा सैलरी निकालनी है. फिर मुझे समझ आया if I'm getting my own place, के फिर उसके पैसे निकालने, फिर आप समझते अच्छा थोड़ी सी और महंगी होनी चाहिए. So that's something that comes in जब आपके खर्चे. और फिर मैंने क्योंकि लाहौर में गया था, I didn't need to put a boost on my social media,
right,
because I was in Lahore. ठीक है, and it just everything aligned perfectly कि लाहौर पे था. उसके बाद उससे पहले I was at Salt Arts. फिर लाहौर के बाद I was at this another event which was Lahuti. So I was like back to back. I was like, this is more interesting. I like popping up at places and just selling my stuff.
Yeah.
And it's more like a hands-on experience. वही लोग online भी ले लेते हैं, online भी build up हो रहा है, but more over like just popping up and selling my prints, my art and my stuff. It just makes more sense to me that way, I guess.
Nice. Chalo, I think we're almost at the end.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for coming on, Areeb.
I'm glad to.
And the Areeb Collective, I hope I see, and I'm definitely going to buy one of those jackets. I think that's a little plug.
Hopefully.
Thanks so much for coming on, dude.
Thank you.
Thank you.